Welcome back, guys, to JK Sports. Going to do another video on free agents. There's just so many. This might be the last one unless a bunch of deals go down. First off, DeMarco Murray did end up choosing Philadelphia. Apparently Dallas ended up lowballing him, which, I know they're not in the greatest of cap situations, but I think they definitely needed to pay the man. He was amazing last year. And I really like the move for Philadelphia. They were able to trade McCoy in his contract and get Kiko Alonso while not losing any value really at the running back position. I think Murray and McCoy are on both elite level running backs. Next, the Saints did a couple trades. Seems like there's a fire sale going on in New Orleans. Kenny Stills getting traded to the Dolphins for a third-round pick and Donnell Ellerbe. Personally, if I were the Saints, I would have liked to hang on to Stills, but I understand they're in probably the worst cap situation entering free agency. So to be able to get a third-round pick when they drafted Stills at 5th, at this point it doesn't matter where you drafted him. He's a great player, definitely worth at least a third or a second, and he has a small contract for the next 2 years. That's kind of rough for Saints fans to swallow, but a third-round pick and you get a defensive starter, presumably, is not too bad a return. And a great move for the Dolphins, obviously. And also they traded Ben Grubbs to the Kansas City Chiefs. Grubbs was an elite-level guard a couple of years ago. I don't know how he's doing now, but if he's still as good as he was before, then that's a great move for Kansas City, only giving up a 5th-round pick. And I guess that's just New Orleans getting some more cap space. They were able to sign Browner with some of that money, so it's not too bad. But obviously, it looks like they're putting more of an emphasis on defense and the run game, even though selling Grubbs is not really an effort towards that. But they were able to get, like I said, Browner. Sticking with, or actually, the Dolphins getting Jordan Cameron. Seemed like Jordan Cameron had a deal set in place with Cleveland, but spurned them and last minute signed with Miami. Well, if football-wise, I think that's a good move for Jordan Cameron. Who's the quarterback for Cleveland? Is it Josh McCown? A pass, honestly. Go with Ryan Tannehill. Charles Clay did well for them. I don't know if he's going to stay in Miami, but keep both weapons for Tannehill. Keep his progress going, Dallas was able to sign Jasper Brinkley and Darren McFadden. That seems like more of Jerry Jones getting an Arkansas player, which he loves. I don't know the money has to be low. I haven't seen it. I'm not sure it's out, but it just has to be low. And if he's like the second or third running back, then that's fine to take a flyer on him because he's got world-class speed when he's healthy, but he's just never healthy. Reggie Bush decided on the 49ers over New England, apparently. I think, I don't know what he's going to do there. It seems like it's going to be the Carlos Hyde show in the running game over there now that Frank Gore is gone. Reggie Bush, I guess, will take over the third down duties, which is fine. I think that's an okay move. And Baltimore was able to re-sign Justin Forsett, which was big. He's a big part of their offense, great pass catcher. Percy Harvin is going to Buffalo, reunited with Rex. He'll be opposite of Sammy Watkins. There's a pretty good receiving core that Buffalo has there, and Robert Woods, and that speedster wide receiver they have. I always forget. Nick Fairley getting a 1-year deal with St. Louis. A lot of people were a little shocked about it, including me. It's only a 1-year, $5 million deal with $2.5 million in incentives. So it could end up being a pretty good payday for him for the year. And after thinking about it, I think it's actually a really smart move obviously by St. Louis and by Fairley. He goes to a loaded defensive line with Quinn and Brockers and Aaron Donald, and I imagine he'll be able to put up some numbers if he can stay healthy. He only had 1 sack last year, but he only played half the season. Still not good enough, but when you're just surrounded with that much talent, I think he'll do well. The Dolphins, they traded Mike Wallace and a 7th-round pick to the Vikings for a 5th-rounder. This is totally a cap move. Mike Wallace, when he's in Miami, is the #1 receiver, unquestionably. Now I guess it would be, is it Stills? Or, I don't know. Brian Hartline is gone. It'll come to me. I know they have another receiver there. They have the LSU kid, but I think he's more of a slot guy. Mike Wallace is going to be the #1 guy in Minnesota, unquestionably. Cordy Patterson still, he showed flashes his rookie year, but still getting acclimated, and Vikings dropped Greg Jennings, so they'll have Wallace and Patterson, and then, oh my gosh, names aren't coming to me today. Charles Johnson, I think, maybe. Big receiver that played well for them late in the season. Tennessee, I like what Tennessee has done. They were able to re-sign Derek Morgan, who had like 6.5 sacks or something like that. 4 years, $30 million, only 10.5 of which is guaranteed. So that's a good deal. There's just not that many. They took up the last good pass rushers left in free agency, in my opinion. And then they were able to lock up Brian Orakpo for 4 years, $32 million. That can escalate to 35. Only 13.5 is guaranteed. I know Orakpo only had half a sack last year, but he also, like Fairley, only played half the season. So, and he's only a year removed from having 10 sack season. I think that's definitely worth the bargain for Tennessee, and I think that's a good deal. The contract is definitely good for Tennessee. Next, I forgot to talk about Pernell McPhee going to the Bears. 7.5 sacks for him last year. I think that's a big deal. 5 years, 38, close to $39 million. 15.5 of which is guaranteed. So that's a good bargain, I think, for the Bears, and you get a pass rusher that, like I said in other videos, there's not a lot of double-digit sack players, so 7.5 is definitely good. You can work with that, and he's only, I think he was only a situational pass rusher in Baltimore, so I like that move for them. Ron Parker, Kansas City safety, he's going back there for 5 years, $30 million, only 8 of which is guaranteed. So it's a little more palatable. Parker, I think this contract has more to do with what he can possibly do rather than what he's done. Hence the $8 million, only 8 being guaranteed. But 30 is a big number. So if he can hit those marks, he might stay for a majority. I don't know how many players really stick through the entirety of a 5-year contract. I think it's hardly done unless you're a good quarterback or whatever. C.J. Spiller, New Orleans getting C.J. Spiller. I think he'll do well to replace. I'm pretty sure Pierre Thomas is not a free agent, and they'll. I think Spiller can kind of fill in that role that they lost when they traded that running back to Philadelphia. Wow. Darren Sproles. Okay, I got it. Finally got it. So I think he can possibly fill in that position, though he's not as good a pass catcher as Sproles is. Obviously, Sproles is one of the best. The Jets were able to boost their secondary, signing Antonio Cromartie to a rather large deal, and Marcus Gilchrist to the numbers haven't come out at the time of this video. So I like the move definitely for Cromartie. Gilchrist I don't know too much about, but I saw that he's very versatile. He's played a bunch of snaps in the slot, at free safety, at strong safety. So I believe he'll be playing the Honey Badger role for Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles, as you know, was defensive coordinator for Arizona last year and did wonders with that defense. So I think this will definitely help and hopefully move. I think they're interchangeable. Pryor played strong safety, free safety last year. Gilchrist the same, but I think Pryor would do much better at strong safety. Pitt signed D'Angelo Williams. I don't know about that. I'd rather take a flyer on a rookie or someone else. D'Angelo Williams, I think, is done, to be honest. Chris Culliver going to Washington. I like that move. Washington having a very sensible, very good offseason, which is not very common in their off seasons. They were able to sign Terrence Knighton and Stephen Payet to boost that defensive line. Those are some monsters up there. It's going to be really hard to run on them. And yeah, that's about it. I know I'm forgetting some, but it's just so many free agents. I'll never be able to cover all of them. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and give me a like, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.